from rags to riches.
I just got mad. I said, I'm not going to lose. I've never been a loser in my life, so I'm not going to lose.
Why don't we dig into the flip that went wrong?
Yeah. The flip that really forced me to rethink whether real estate was going to be the path that I wanted to take, and did I do something foolish. So it was about 2009, if memory serves correctly. So I'm 2 years, I'm 29-ish back then. Don't hold me to it. I'm just barely 2 years into my real estate journey. I was connecting the dots, doing really well, flipping houses. And I had more than one project going on, and I'd just taken on a really large one, about a $600,000 single family flip and scope, and which is a lot in Connecticut, at least back then, when you could buy a house for $60,000 and flip it and sell it, for 150 in Hartford. It was just they were everywhere. Long story short, I was using a specific crew that was getting themselves into some trouble on another deal, not mine. I was unaware, and they wound up. They were going to be getting sued for some things that they had done. To this day I don't really know what they did. I think they were taking funds from that particular flipper or homeowner, and then using it to finish other projects where they had gone wrong and gone over budget. They were mixing and mingling and just doing some other things. And I think there were some subcontractors they brought on that they weren't paying. There was kind of a storm forming. And my hard money lender at the time caught wind of that. And what made it so bad for me was I had one of my projects was starting to creep up and go over scope a little bit on the rehab budget, and timing was we were coming up on our timeline, and he was sweating a little bit. But I was very transparent and forthcoming about what's happening and how we're going to right the train. That's always kind of been my approach. But he caught wind of the other lawsuits and didn't want to take the legal risk of us being pulled in, especially because I'm doing business with this guy, right? He's the first position lien holder. Basically, called the notes due. I learned very quickly what the types of contracts I need to look out for. But, long story short, I lost everything. I lost all the rental properties that I owned at the time, and it wasn't many, but there was a couple. I was doing well. My flips basically immediately got foreclosed on, and that really big project I mentioned, which was down to the studs. Now you've got this $600,000 home that's worth kind of nothing. It's gutted down to the studs, and so they couldn't just sell it and recoup the funds, right? And so they sued me for another $100,000 on top of it. So I lost my properties. I got a judgment against me. I think it was $130,000. And I even lost my job right at the same time. So now no money coming in the door. And the girl that I'd been dating and living with was an attorney who worked for that hard money lender. And she said, "You got to go."
Oh my God.
And
Wow.
so now I'm kicked out, no job, right? Just lost everything. And I'm like 27. I'm like, my world just caved in on me. And I was working with a bankruptcy attorney to figure it all out. And I decided not to file bankruptcy because I decided the investors that were in it, I was going to make them whole. You file bankruptcy, you essentially can't pay them back, because otherwise you're acknowledging something and then you owe everybody, even the lenders, the money back. So I was like, no, I'm going to pay everybody back. And so I did. I made everybody whole. And those investors eventually started investing with me again because of that. Just a few years later when I stopped crying, a few months later when I stopped crying and dusted myself off and said, I'm going to do this. But lost everything. And the next closest job that I got was in Oklahoma, and I needed a car to get there, and I had no money. And so this new girl who said, "You can come and live with me. I'll kind of look after you." Also gave me the money that I needed to spend a few nights in a hotel while I was traveling to Oklahoma. Gave me the money that I needed to stay in a hotel while I was working there until I could start getting my first paycheck. And I knew she had a crush on me, and I felt really bad taking the money, but I needed it. And she gave it to me, not knowing if I'd ever come back. And I always say that's the girl I'm going home to tonight, 15 years later. She's wonderful. But, I went to Oklahoma, and I was lucky I landed a high-paying job. And I took a couple months really feeling like, what the heck was I thinking? This real estate thing was foolish. But I was like, no, I know the process. I know what to watch out for. And I found another partner, started raising money again, and started flipping houses. And I paid off all those debts probably inside of the next year, and then it was back to the races.
Wow. We can't skip over this.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
Dude,
it's totally
crazy.
insane. Like when in your 20s, we're in our 30s, your early 40s, but like very impressionable. Like, tell me like mentally how you went from zero to even digging yourself
Basically homeless
out of that
at that
first
point.
hole.
Yeah.
Like how did you even imagine yourself getting out, and how did you even go back into real estate? Like what was that mental picture for you?
That is crazy, dude.
I just remember I was feeling really sad, obviously, right? I was really depressed. I was like, oh my God, all this money, like at the time, like $100,000 just feels like a lot. Now I could lose $100,000 and I wouldn't even know I was losing it. But, and I haven't lost money since, let's be clear, listeners.
Yeah.
But I think I was sad and I just got mad. And I was like, I'm not gonna be a victim. I'm not gonna lose. And like I said, my mindset at the time was, I know the process. I just got to repeat it. And now I know what to watch out for. And I always say the lessons are where the millions are at. And so I don't remember exactly how, but I was like, I'm gonna need a partner. I'm gonna need boots on the ground. I'm in Oklahoma now, but I want to start flipping houses in Connecticut again. So I found a partner, and I think I found her on LinkedIn or something. I can't remember. But I flew back to Connecticut, met with her, and I was like, I'm going to raise the money. I'm going to put all the operations in place. I just need you to be boots on the ground. And the benefit to me was she was a bright girl. She was already in private equity herself as an analyst, and her husband was a builder. And so it was kind of a match made in heaven. And I did exactly what I said I was going to do, and started raising the money, and we started, going and looking at foreclosures together, and just started. I think within like a month, I was buying and flipping houses again. But I just got mad. I said, I'm not going to lose. I've never been a loser in my life, so I'm not going to lose.
That's crazy.
Wow. I'm really mind blown. I mean, we have our own struggles for sure, but they pale in comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I mean,
good for
really,
you, dude. I mean,
I really give you
that is
a lot of credit for that.
That is something. What I mean, that's from rags to riches. If that show still exists, that'd be a good episode. Thank you so much for listening to Sky's the Limit podcast. We're always releasing new content, so if there's something you want to hear, be sure to comment below. And don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And just remember, sky's the limit, dive deep, and invest in how you want to live.